long angle towards connector and blue, and defenders can swing. So that's my one big worry about this attack so far.
Control of the hatch, a very important part of this, and that's what's currently in the favor of number 2, but he has the idea that somebody's trying to fight him off of it, and as long as they can keep him distracted, he can't keep it entirely watched. Typon suffering massively, and I assume the smoke on the far side is forced back out, has to go for the rotate, and Ramu finds Shyle in the meantime. That is that important kill over the top. That gets them that security of the hatch. That gets the Monty the ability to drive in. Good Boys doing everything either side, but finally they're able to lock out one, and the shield goes down, and the door are blue as well. They've got to swing in behind it. Suddenly it's just Static left, but Static's on the hatch and gets the hatch cold. 10 seconds. They've got to recollect the diffuser. He's playing this to the best of his ability. He pulls himself back round. He's going to go for the rotate and see if he can strike elsewhere. The plant is coming through. It's a 2 versus 1. He won't be able to get there in time, but they had some awareness of where he was coming from. Post-plant Fav just scramble it round the rotate. He doesn't know, or does he? As they stop, just stacked up on the door. But Shin...
That single wall to Mez, just where Good Boy is playing in the end. There will be a lot of utility dump into him. That's 3 flashes and a grenade. And it's going to be Shin that walks in on him. Good Boy sees him, does end up getting taken out by number 2's grenade. So that's really good from Fav. They've taken the map control and they've taken it pretty quickly, even if they have lost a life doing so.
They tried to get super aggressive in the swing round on the backside as well. There you can see they lost one and wanted to try and step back down onto Static, who just hightailed it out of there, right down the stairs. But at this point, they know the main focus is on the vertical, is on the control. They've been able to rest out here. Ramu wants to try and take the bit of the angle over the top and hope someone comes for the rotate, but otherwise not to be yet revealed. Catches out the bulletproof on the far side to remove some of their eyes and ideas on who is quite playing what, where, and why. But it seems like Sandbox, they've got themselves a little bit boxed in underneath. They're not going to extend too much. They know that there's still work to do. They know that they still have to try and force their way down. And as long as they're still shepherding and clearing, it's the fight inside that goes Arakaze's way.
Yeah, and that's just a push in there from number 2. However, Afro will push in and go for the plant. The library's been under control. Stock player's dead. The plant can absolutely go down here, and there's nothing that Sandbox can do. They do get a kill and make it into a man advantage for Sandbox, and will potentially look to retake library as Ramu finds one from lobby, but will be traded back out. Typon trades one back out, and the diffuser's going to be tapped. So we're going to have this cat and mouse game of Static. Do Pro's fake. He looks like he does get off it. He doesn't fake. And here we go. Swing comes around, tags, gets him to about 20 HP, and it looks like he's actually going to take the decision to go and push the player upstairs, who wisely moves away and drops into lobby. This cat and mouse game drops down the hatch, does get the kill. Can he get there in time? He looks like he will, and Static same issue of only 1 breach coming in as well.
Well, as the breach starts to pop across, Rami's still trying to get some clarity over the top, and the Maverick of Typon's doing all the busybody work to the pressure onto blue. Little bit of a singe on the helmet of your teammate, but you can still start to roll your way across. Apart from them, Static catches them out with the swing round. They've got Good Boy still locking in the swing from red itself. There's that 10-second, the drop, and it's a trade back off, but there's Good Boy round the corner, gets the kick cold, the pop of the shotgun. Well, it somehow works at that range. Oh no, it's Eric. Sophia on that window itself. The first grenade doesn't go get the full pop, the hop in, and there's the take, and there's Arakaze with the lockdown from underneath. Afro is able to find Good Boy on the second swing round. They've slipped their way through, and they see the legs. Shyle still wins it out, though. Takes care of Typon. They get downed. And now Afro is going to see if they can try and lock in the second. They get it, but at a bit of a blow and a cost there on that player.
You know the saying, you've got away with murder there. That's exactly what Shyle has done. Because in full view of Afro for about 5 seconds, Shyle's managed to at least find a kill as the collapse comes in. 3v3, a minute to go. Arakaze's got a C4 on hand as well. This is top floor gained by Fav, but it's about what they do with it. They've got the sledge on site this time, but the sledge isn't looking to play vertically whatsoever, which means Arakaze can just play safe inside of bar with nobody challenging him.
Well, the challenge is going to come sooner rather than later here, as they don't really have much of a choice. 40 seconds. They've been able to get themselves inside the vertical. They know where the pressure is roughly. They know where the players are roughly, but that rough information is going to start trying to become a little bit more solid in this, the final 15 seconds. There's still a very wide bit of play here. Sandbox have a player all the way in dining, waiting for the drop round. They have themselves a support structure to stop the plant from double window itself. It's Arakaze, and well, he's going to hear that hop and finds the player dropped. Now that puts them in the 3 versus 2. Afro's still with the kit. Rami trying to find his way down the stairs. Just puts a bit of damage to the player who's dining, who can pull away. It's 12 seconds. They know they've got to still get the plant. Static gets one more. There's R6Shighlight looking it up.
Solarium side attack. You've got to dump the utility. You've got to clear out Shile on the Solarium stairs. You can't just swing in, and that's what Afro does. Does just swing in, manages to find the kill, somehow swinging in, and does get the kill onto Shile, but still has Static to deal with. That will be taken by Shin. So not all is lost for FAV, even if it has taken them 2 minutes so far.
That's it. They had the body on the other side of Shin as well. I don't think he expected 2 people to go for the aggressive jump in there. Hoped it was just him versus the line, and other people were on windows. Went for a bit of a mad dash and didn't quite come together. MV Taylor, he's just seeing a little bit of the side of a scrape there. Doesn't get the full lockdown, and the smoke's going to buy him a second of space, but Shin's pulled himself further back. Even more injured. Well, they pretty much are equal. Their second engagement, but it's the third between the pair that finally finds a victor. Shin is able to get rid of the smoke and put them into the 4 versus 2. Good Boy has every bit of protection on that door and a little bit of silence, waiting for the E1D to pass. The spray over the top. It's either side of the door, but it's Good Boy that locks it in. Finds Afro. Finds 15 seconds left, and a second one sprayed down inside the door of the corridor, swung onto the kitchen hatch. There's the fight back. There it is! R6Shighlight in control of the hatch, but they still need to do the breaking and battering of the actual walls of the site itself, and that's going to finally start to come through. The weight and the measure of the approach on the plant itself, the pressure that is going to come through onto the door of blue, the swing onto pillar, almost nets one for MV Taylor. He doesn't quite get the full sniff of the player, but he definitely gets a lungful of the smoke canister. That grenade bounces over the top. Typon, he's got a clever rotate. He's got himself a bit closer, just tucked under the breach of the Maverick. There inside though, Ramu has a different idea, finds Shile. It might have been the cover on the hatch itself. R6Shighlight tries to drive through, gets caught up. Static at least gets one. It's Ramu with a triple. There, the swing round, and FAV finds over the top, and it's Good Boy that suffers first, but finds that success. Why not just send the man in, gets the kill, gets the pressure, and gets yourself still 2 minutes to go for the next clear. Ramu is suffering, and so is Afro. Suddenly, there's all of this danger and damage done towards the site itself. Number 2, he's stacked up on the door, waiting to go for a bit of a swing. The upside down rappel, and I said they might have been a bit slow, but they definitely changed my tune.
Yeah, they managed to just take some risks there, not fully clear out Solarium, and then they just cleared it like that. It was done, and Shin's now done in a 1v5. Has to find the ace clutch to keep his team away from match point, still with a chance of picking up all 3. Currently occupies, because you can roll the sets through both of the drone holes, the trophy drone hole and the dining drone hole, and create a massive light wall right through the middle of site when you are going in for that plant.
Well, here comes the player, the sense, the roll with the cover and the support of the E1D, but it's a trade out on the bottom of the stairs. Typon and Good Boy find each other. And now Shile finds himself on the site. He needs that kit. He wants to try and grab it and get himself back towards the site that he was already on, but unfortunately it was in the hands of the one person who's been knocked off the board, picked up and dropped off. Afro with the spray around, and Ramu with the take over the side, looking to see if he can swing from one to the other, but they're actually going to pull themselves back in. It was an attempt here from Sandbox. It's something a little bit fast, and well, if the kit had been in somebody else's hands, it might have been successful. But now there's not an impossible task, but a very tricky one in the pockets of R6Shighlight and MV Taylor. The clash being something they're going to have to toe-to-toe with, which kind of isolates a single player into a 1 versus 1.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. I think they probably didn't have a full appreciation that there was a clash underway. There is going to be a lion charge. There is going to potentially be a jump in off the back of that from R6Shighlight. But the problem is he's got 1 above him, he's got 3 at the side of him. And like you say, there's a clash that can completely front up the attackers and just provide information to the defenders all day long. He's trying to find any engagement that he can this for free, is R6Shighlight. It doesn't look like anybody from FAV right now is wanting to offer that up, though.
Well, there's a clash and there's a player behind it, and there's kind of nothing being offered to them otherwise here. FAV, they know they've been gifted a little bit here, and they're going to make sure they don't squander that. R6Shighlight wants to try and drift his way in a bit closer, but it's a bit of a tight angle, and FAV are holding them to that. The first is theirs. Afro gets another pickup for the round. MV Taylor hops out the window. The clash knows exactly where MV Taylor is. Yeah, just have a conversation at this point, I think, lads. There's not really anything else you can do.
Looks like Emmett Taylor might still be trying to get his exit frags, get his stats up, but like you say, have a conversation with each other, because you know that the next site is going to be Wine Cellar Snowmobile, and you know that actually strategically Sandbox failed spectacularly at that site. Therefore, you know, have a conversation. The rest of the team will be having a conversation as Envy does try this out and does manage to pad his stats.
Truly made his way inside the building at this point. Now Fav, they're free to just rotate. They can try and play this final minute. Rami's going to cause a little bit more attention, but when you're in this situation and you've already done this much time wasting, at that point you can still set yourself up for the 5 versus 5, because structurally they still have to get open the walls. They still have to try and dig out the player onto blue.
It's kind of an awkward one in terms of Fav, because they've defended the top floor but not the middle floor of dining, which means that, to be honest, Charles just been able to establish himself in dining above the hatch with no real contention whatsoever. But the wall being open now is in the next big block for Arakazi. Sorry, for Envy Taylor, not for Arakazi. They are going to have to open that wall. It sounds like it is about to be opened and is open, so there's only 20 seconds here for an execute.
It's a 5 versus 5. They still have players above as well, but Shile's going to get the opener there. Ramu goes down. Afro trying his best to stop it with the swing and the plant attempt. And with 15 seconds, the canister is a very important play. The grenade over the top goes a bit too far. Typon's hoping to see if he can pop up and pop down whoever goes over the top. And there it is. One apiece. The door gets locked in as well. A handful of seconds. Good Boy's trying to cover. Static either side. Swings round. Desperate. That's C4. A very important catch out. Good Boy is doing everything he can to hold the player up, but goes down in the end swing, leaving just Shile. He was above before they're going for the defuse. He's not going to get there in time. He's at least able to find one, but distance too great to be rooted out. Shin does find Static, and Good Boy finds Revenge. A quick play back in. Now Afro's even in more of a dicey situation. Sprays a little bit, does a bit of damage to Good Boy, who has no more charges on that, at least for now, so doesn't want to push the fight until he's got himself back to full health.
I think Afro's played that really well, and Ramu's position has a very long angle towards lobby should the attackers look to drop it, and it's all on number 2 and Afro basically just to hold off the main push into games, and Ramu needs to be holding their back. If anybody in that triangle lets go of what they've got ownership of right now, it's going to be a big problem for Fav, because they are very detached.
Oh, Envy Taylor, he's knocking on the door of the site. 20 seconds, and he slips his way past the smoke canister. Number 2's close for the attempt to stop any attempt on a plant here, but there's the player above the hatch. Do they know? They don't. The swing round, the response is fast, and that just leaves Rami around on the back stairs. Gets one, but Arakaze is going to get this kit down on the far side. Sort of hoped somebody else would swing in, but they just sat and watched the cover, and now they can rebuild. One inside the site itself, and one above by the looks of it. Oh, in fact, no, they've pulled themselves all the way outside. They have the drone watching. They're playing behind the camera. At this point, with that drone and that intel, that is, in a lot of people's books, all she wrote. But Ramu is still going to try and make this clutch happen. Slow creep over the top. Doesn't go his way. And we have a Sandbox win. At the end of it, it could have been sharper, but it's still 3 points.
Yep, and Charles with the mask on, we're used to seeing him do it once again, goes and celebrates, and his team celebrates. Arakazi's also got a mask. It's all going off. There's too many masks from the side of Sandbox, and what I would say is they were the deserved victors.